Hello, my name is Henriette and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'd love to have you here. It's winter in London and I wanted to share some ideas of what to do during these winter days. We like to get away from the smoke of London, so we've travelled down to Sevenoaks, which is south of London, to visit a deer park called Knole Park. Whenever we get a beautiful sunny winter's day like this one, it's always nice to get away and do something outside. I was a little unsure whether we would actually get to see some deer, but it turned out that there were loads of them and they were certainly not shy. I think it's so important to spend some time outside and in nature when it's winter. I think it's just good for the soul. Isn't he just so handsome? During our walk we ran into a park ranger who showed us some of these antlers. Unfortunately they're not for keeps, but check these out, they are massive, and imagine carrying 2 of them on your head. The deer you see here at Knole Park are all fallow deer, and they are wild and have been here for many generations. Knole Park used to be privately owned, but is now part of the National Trust, and on it is also a building. I say building, but what you actually see today is a remarkably preserved early Jacobean remodelling of a medieval archbishop's palace. It started off as an older manor house, but it was built and extended by the Archbishops of Canterbury after 1456, so it's very old indeed. And it has some royal connections, because King Henry VIII hunted here and also found it to be a great home for his daughter, who later became Mary I, during his divorce from her mother, Catherine of Aragon. The palace itself was closed for restoration. We were, however, allowed to pop up into the tower, and this gives you a magnificent view. Knole Park also houses one of the best courtyards I've ever seen. I mean, look at this, it's just glorious. And the deer heads or antlers they had displayed in here were absolutely magnificent. And of course, this palace also had an orangery, and it was stunningly beautiful. I particularly liked the windows and the way that the stained glass also reflected on the walls opposite. And after our trip out, we returned home feeling much better, having seen something else and having spent some time in nature. Wintering for me also means doing things indoors or at home, and one of the things that I particularly enjoy is crocheting. And this time I'm doing something I've never done before. I'm actually crocheting around some jute rope, and I'm using 3-ply jute to do it. I hardly ever follow a pattern when I do something like this, and again I didn't follow a pattern on this occasion. I'm just making it up as I go along, but I had decided that I wanted to try and make a large tray. I've often seen trays like these in shops, and they're usually very, very expensive. So I thought I'd better have a go and see how it goes. I was very pleased with how this turned out, but this is all about enjoying yourself and making things for yourself, and I think that is such a good thing to do during winter when you actually have the time. I'm just styling it here so you can see what it looks like, but I think I'm going to use this tray for Easter. tempting as it is to stay at home during winter, it is also important to spend some time with your loved ones. And what's better than going out for lunch? And this time I'm out with Mike. For those of you who are new to my channel, Mike is my husband. And we've come to this little restaurant, which is an Italian restaurant in Westerham. Westerham is a small market town in Kent, and it's probably best known for its connection to Winston Churchill. The Churchills bought a house here in 1922, which was called Chartwell, and apart from the war, they lived here until he died in 1965. He absolutely adored the place because it had such beautiful views, and he would say that a day away from the house was a day wasted. We like coming to Westerham because it's in the country, and also it has a lot of lovely shops, including some thrift stores or charity shops. And of course, I can't resist a quick look inside. There are of course also other lovely shops in Westerham, and there are also lots of tea rooms should you fancy a cup of tea. But here comes the big man himself, Winston Churchill. He has a statue right on the village green. I definitely think there's something really nice about dressing up warm and then going to somewhere you don't go very often. And our visit to Westerham has certainly been a lovely day out. Winter is also a time where we slow down or hibernate, if you like, or even recharge our batteries before the busy spring and summer. And I find that quite hard to do, so doing a puzzle really helps me because it makes me stay in one place for a period of time, and I really enjoy it with a cup of tea. I also think it really helps if you make your surroundings really cozy and comfortable, so I've made sure that I've lit a couple of candles too. Settling down in our reading nook with a good book is also a fabulous thing to do during winter, and I've chosen a really good crime novel. I really think that the art of wintering is all about doing things that brings you enjoyment and slows you down a little bit. I'm definitely someone who is at my happiest when my hands are busy. So knitting, crocheting, sewing are definitely things that help me slow down. But at the same time, I feel like I'm productive. I'm knitting a scarf here because it seems appropriate because London is so cold at the minute. Winter is also a time where I like to cook an extra special meal for my family. I'm cooking coq au vin, which is a classic French traditional recipe. It is basically a flavourful stew which is perfect to warm you up on a cool day. The recipe I'm using here is by Once Upon a Chef, and I'll be sure to drop a link below in the description box. Thank you so much for watching the video so far, and if you've enjoyed it, I'll be very grateful if you'd please like, subscribe and comment. I absolutely love hearing from you, and I would love to know what sort of special meals you cook during the winter. I thoroughly enjoy spending time in the kitchen, especially when I get a chance to cook something a little bit special. Saying that, coq au vin is now a staple at fine dining restaurants, but it was originally considered a peasant food and it featured a rooster. Fear not, there are no roosters in my kitchen. I'm using straightforward chicken legs. The other thing I really love about cooking something a bit special is of course the aroma that fills the whole house. It smells so good. This dish takes around 2 hours and 10 minutes to cook, but trust me, it's definitely worth it. That's pretty much all from me today. I hope you found some wintry inspiration. I'm going to leave you with some videos of the finished coq au vin, and we're serving it with potatoes and vegetables. That's all for now. Take care. I hope you have a wonderful week. Much love from London.